serious matter. It's a matter of escalation. And once you have these cluster munitions being used, and the next step is the dirty bomb, then the next step is the tactical nuclear weapons, not the big ones, but the small ones. So that escalation ladder becomes open after that. So we have to be very careful that both these countries are, both these sides, not countries. Iran on the one hand, supported by China, for example, actively, and then US and Israel and the European countries and the Gulf Cooperation Council on the other side, because then it gives an excuse for US also to step up the escalatory ladder. About Iran's past history, and I have my views on that in the sense that they were a great nation. They were Persia. They had good relations with India civilizationally. But in the last 100 years, it is not the same story. They have violated diplomatic norms and protocols very, very massively in the sense that there is Vienna protocols, there's other conventions, there are things written down for protection of embassies. They attacked the US embassy, they held the diplomats hostage for a long time against all norms and conventions. So they have blatantly violated a lot of international norms all the time. They have been supporting terrorist organizations like Hamas and Hezbollah and Houthis continuously, disrupting a large portion of the world. So if I look at Iran as a nuclear weapon power, it is a very disturbing prospect because they have never supported India in the UN, for example. Whenever any resolutions have come up on Pakistan, they have always supported Pakistan on Kashmir, etc. So they are not a great support for India in any international forum. Iran is a close ally of China. Now, what are the biggest threats of the world, including India and US? It is terrorism and China. And Iran is a very close ally of that. Then Iran is a country, leading country of Islamic Jihad, political Islam all over the world, trying to be the leader of the fundamental elements, trying to be the leader of the terrorist world. So again, it's a very big sort of question mark. Iran also, as a big supporter of the countries which control the global supply chains, it manages the Straits of Hormuz, for example. It passes right next to it. So it has a lot of chokehold on those areas, which can disrupt the energy chains and the other supply chains, and create a lot of economic disruptions all over the world and inflation. Now, about intervention or regime change, without boots on the ground, I, as a diplomat, have studied many instances where this has happened very, very frequently through interventions by CIA, for example. One of the recent examples was, of course, Ukraine, where they toppled, the Yushchenko government by putting in $5 billion through street protests. Similarly, we have had regime change in Bangladesh recently without any boots on the ground. We have had regime change in Nepal, for example, recently without any boots on the ground. We have had regime change in a way, sort of, not totally, but in Venezuela, with temporary boots on the ground for a matter of minutes. So to effect regime change through money or through other interventions is also not very difficult for the toolkit that they have assembled over the years, the CIA and their proxies and their other supporters and partners. So they may come up with some such solution here, but currently the support for the regime is also very deep in Iran, whereas the support against, for the protesters who are protesting against the regime is also very strong because of all the massive, massacres that they have indulged in, killing 7,000 of the protesters. 7,000 is not a small number for women who are protesting for their rights, particularly young women, youth, absolutely. They are being killed, just picked up like flies and shot dead. So the atrocities which this regime has indulged in, and if I look at it overall in the long-term perspective for India's interest, to have in our neighborhood another country with a Muslim country with a nuclear bomb, which is again never been totally, we have vested interest because Pakistan is a bigger danger for us or a bigger enemy. So we have to make friends, we have to have the Chabahar port, we have to have the access through Afghanistan and Iraq. But for them to get a nuclear bomb, and then whom is the nuclear bomb going to be threatened against? One of the countries is definitely India for Kashmir issue. So do we support that? No, we don't. So I think we have to look at it rationally. We have to look at our strategic interests. We have to look at our future. And accordingly, in the sense, if we don't make a statement, it's a very good strategic stance. Because we don't want to support a nation which is not been supporting us in any forum internationally.
Right.
So I don't think we are very far wrong off the mark to keep
Ambassador
quiet
Pradeep Kapoor, thanks very much for joining us and speaking to us here at NewsX. And viewers, we now move ahead. Iran has now reported